Hi y'all, it's Charlene from the Crafty Art Shack, and today we're going to be using some old belts to do a project for Christmas. Yes, this is going to be a Christmas present that you could give away, and just about anybody could use it in their home. So, let's get to the craft desk and see what we're doing today. Let's go! Alright guys, we're here at the craft desk, and what I'm showing you is I got some little picture frames from the Dollar Tree. These have the little metal inside. I took all the stickers off the back. You saw me pop off that little stand, and you're going to need 3 of these. Now save one of these little picture things here to leave on there so the person you're giving it to knows what it's for. Now I took 2 little blocks, and what I'm showing you is my camera battery died and it didn't show me cutting this, so I wanted to show you that I just cut it. And what you're going to do is I measured where I had 2 holes showing on my belt, because this particular belt had holes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the first one in the center and staple it down. And I am using an air gun stapler just because I have that, because my husband is an upholsterer. And you can certainly staple this with any other staple gun. You can also use hot glue and E600 glue on this, and you'll see me put some of that under that little flap that is sticking up, and that's what I'm looking for now. And I'm plugging my glue gun in because I didn't have that ready, and so I'm showing you that I put E600 under there. And I do a combination of that and hot glue so that it stays. And of course I'm having to wait on my hot glue gun because I didn't plan that out ahead of time. But I wanted to make sure y'all knew that if you didn't have a staple gun, you can do this without it. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to make sure my next belt is the hardest thing on this project is just making sure that your belt's lined up. And what I'm doing is I'm laying my ruler down and I'm kind of guesstimating where it's at. I'm not measuring anything. I'm just making sure that it's straight on there, because you don't want your picture to start going off and look like it's slanted. You want your belt to go straight. So now what I did is, and I put those 2 little blocks down because this picture had that little clip on the front of it, and so in order not to damage that clip, I put 2 little blocks down. Now I cut out 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I cut on the 4th one of this belt that has holes. Now my next belt that I'm going to use in my next project, I'm going to show you how I measured that one, because they're done 2 different ways. And again, I'm putting these little blocks under there because these were on there. Now if you're adding these on afterwards, and this is how I line up my frame, is I put a ruler on the outside and I make sure that my belt has 2 of those holes showing, because that's what I have on the top one. So I want 2 in between this. And then I just staple this down, and again, you can hot glue this and put some E6000 on it. It will hold. Now, my hot glue gun heated up, so I went ahead and went up there and put that glue in up there. So, and I put some more on this one because I had a little bit of belt hanging over. And I'm just pressing it down, making sure that it's nice and snug, because I don't want it flapping around. And then the next thing I'm going to do is slide everything down so that I can get the next one hooked in. And I'm going to move my little block down. And again, you don't have to have these blocks to do every one of them, unless you're doing one that already has these little things on the front that hold your pictures. So now I got to move it up some, because I need to make sure I have that 2 little holes showing in between this. And again, see how I line that up over there? And then I'm making sure that I'm putting that right along the same place that I put that first one, where it's lined up I'm sticking my finger up here trying to line this up for y'all. It's showing y'all with my finger, and I realized I ain't even in the video. You guys, I pre-record these and then come back and voice over them. So I'm trying to point out what I'm doing to it while I'm talking to you. I'm sorry, you guys. Now, this belt didn't have an end to it because somebody had already cut it off. So what I did is I cut off my four holes plus some, and then I cut an end to make it look like the end of the belt. Now, all those belt pieces, like that piece right there you see left over, that's a lot of belt left over. You can use that on another project. And you guys, these are so cute. They make great Christmas gifts. It doesn't matter if somebody already has one, they can always use another one because everybody always has pictures to hang. And my kids give me pictures of my grandkids when they're in school, and they bring them to me, and then they're not in frames or anything. And these are great. These little clip ones like this are great. Now you can certainly do this with okay, I'm showing you that I'm cleaning up that glue that came out because this is going to be a gift and we want it to look nice, so we don't want all that glue sticking out. But back to what I was saying, these make great Christmas gifts, and the you can certainly make your pictures up ahead of time and put them inside a glass frame and then staple your belt onto the back. And when you see the ones that I did for my house, you'll see that they don't have the clips on the outside of them like this. But when you're giving them as gifts, you got to do the ones with the clips on the outside unless you are putting the pictures in, because you won't be able to take that back off and put another picture in there. All right, for this next one, I picked a brown belt, and I picked some of these. I got 4 of these little slats, like things from the Dollar Tree, and I've got me some of those binder clips from the Dollar Tree, and I got me 1 belt, and then that little picture, I saved it from those other ones that I did so that I could clip it on this one so that they knew what they were supposed to do. So what I did is I'm deciding on how long I really want this belt top to be. And so I put it on there, flip it over, look at it, put it on there. Now you guys, here's where I made my mistake. And I'm left this in here so I could show you. I went and got my stapler. There it is. And what am I doing? What am I doing wrong in this picture? Anybody guess? Yep, there I go. I stapled it down. And what's the problem with that? Right here. If you staple this down before you cut it, look how hard of a time I'm having trying to cut that. So don't do that. Go back in there and don't stick your thing on the top trying to pull those staples out, because you'll mark up your belt. Go underneath the belt like I'm doing here and pull those up, and those staples will come out. And then you just take your pliers and work them out of that leather. And if you push down on it while it's on that board, it'll pop those staples up. Now you cut it. And I'm having to even it up because my line wasn't getting straight. So now what I'm going to do is even up the line on this one, because like I said, it was diagonal. And if you're working with diagonal, it doesn't work out good. So I was getting ready to cut it again. I was like, no, before I do this, let me figure out what I want. So I'm measuring on my cutting board there. I want 2 inches between those 2 boards. So I cut the 2 inches, but before I cut it, I added 2 more inches, because 2 inches is what it needs to reach those center things after I put it together. And so when I get ready to staple these down, I'm going to cut all 3 of these plus my end. Now on my end, I'm going to go down there, and I laid one of the ones that I cut on there, and I went in 4 of those little holes, and I'm saving that piece. Now, don't make the mistake and staple your end piece on it. So I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to staple the top piece on, and then see, this is how it looks right in the center. And now I'm going to lay out my next 2. It works really easy if you do this. Line them up on your line. And then you're going to put your belt in the center on those 2 slats. Now, in order to get that 2 inches in between, I had to cut these at 4 inches. And you don't want to make them too long in between your pictures, because some people don't have a place to hang those long ones. Some people may only need 2 or 3 or maybe even 1. I try to do mine in odd numbers, and I'm showing you there my belt's a little twisted because this was a belt that somebody used to wear, and so I've got a spot that's twisted, but I'm going to still use that piece. I'm just going to make sure that I line it up in the center so that it hangs straight, and it's not going to matter whether it's twisted or not. So now I'm having to move it up, and I'm going to line it up again for y'all. And I'm going to put my next piece in. Now this one's not twisted, and these pieces of the belt were cut one right after another. Y'all saw me do it. And if it moves on you, just line it back up. Yep, see, I had to line it up there. And then just staple it down. And then your end piece. I always like to add an end piece to my pictures if I have the extra belt to do it. And especially if I'm giving it as a gift. That way it has that country rustic look, or it has that modern look, depending on what kind of gift I'm giving. And so, again, you can use either E600 and hot glue with this, or you can staple it on. And you don't have to have an air gun stapler like I do. I just happen to have that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those little binder clips. I'm going to put some E6000 on the back of it, and then I'm going to put some hot glue down. Okay, and once I put that E6000 on there, then I'm going to add my hot glue to it. And then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to put it right in the center at the top. And I'm taking line that top of that binder clip up with the very top of my thing. Now, I'm showing you that this is where it clips in there. And you don't want to leave that piece of paper in there. You don't even have to do that step right then. I was just doing that for y'all. But you want to let that binder clip dry first before you put that in there, because you don't want that to get stuck in your thing. And I'm showing you that I got 6 of these little sunflowers for $1 at the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to cut the backs of that little stem that I'm holding it by off. And I'm going to add some hot glue to it and glue it down. I'm looking to see if I can just wire it in. I'm going, nah, that's going to be too hard. We're just going to put some hot glue on here and stick it right to the front of that binder clip. And I'm going to use my little wire cutters, bend that wire down, and then put the hot glue on there. Stick it on the front of my binder clip. Get that little piece of paper out of the way, or you're going to glue it down. Ask me how I know. It's because I've done it before. Yep, see, I even got glue on that, just sticking it up under there just so I could show y'all. Now I'll do all 4 of these little plaques the same.
Alright, you guys, before we wrap up this video, I just wanted to show you some of the different types of belts and what to look for when you're at the thrift store, or somebody's giving you belts, or somebody's throwing out belts and you want to keep some of them for this type of project. So this would be for somebody with a more modern house. This would be somebody with a semi-modern house, or you could do even a rustic theme with this one. And the same with these 2 guys here. These, well, hang on just a minute. this, you want to look for belts that are long so you can get more for your money out of what you're doing. You want to look for them with the types of buckles that they have. These always work well. And like I said, this is for somebody with a more modern house, and you could make it into, look how long this belt is, and you could make it into, and it's even got another decorative piece down here. You could make this into a fancy country theme. It depends on you. I'm going to show you some pictures here in a minute of some of the things I've done with mine. And then this is always a good one, and it's colorful too. If it goes with the colors in your house, this would be a good one to use. This is just too cute. So,
all right, you guys, we're back from the craft desk, and look at this cute little Christmas gift that we just got through making. Now, you guys, these can be stained or done a different way, but for who I'm giving this gift to, it is just cute to go just like this. And look at that. Isn't that adorable? And you can hang all your little pictures through it out the year or whatever. And you guys, y'all saw the pictures of the ones that I did, or some of the other belts that I picked, but I'm going to show you some of the pictures I did too. You guys, look at this one. This one turned out really adorable. Now, these came from the Dollar Tree, just like these little plaques here came from the Dollar Tree. Now, my belt was an old belt that was falling apart. See, it's falling apart. All that can be glued together, or you can just use that part of it and save this part for something else. You guys get the most mileage out of your belts because you'll be able to use them for other things. Isn't this just adorable? This makes a wonderful Christmas gift for anyone. Everybody likes to hang pictures in their house. So you guys, that'll do it for this episode of the Crafty Art Shack, and we'll see you later. Bye! Oh yeah, before we go, here's some of the ones that I did for... Alright, you guys, that'll do it for this episode of the Crafty Art Shack. We hope you like and subscribe and join us for another video. We'll see you later. Bye!
I forgot to start. For the third time. Well. Squirrel. If you watched my last video, you know what that means. Something happens and it takes your mind off of it. A little Christmas tree, or not Christmas tree, it's not Christmas. Alright, you guys, that'll do it for this episode of the Crafty Art Shack. We hope you like and subscribe and join us for another video. We'll see you later. Bye!